If you or someone you care about was born in 1964 or earlier, you need to stop scrolling right now. You are walking directly into a financial meat grinder that could wipe out 30% of your retirement. But why is nobody talking about this? We are barreling toward a massive shift in Social Security and tax rules hitting in 2026. If you aren't prepared, the government will legally pickpocket your life savings. And spoiler alert, they aren't mailing you a warning letter. So why exactly do you need to stick around until the end of this video? Because I'm going to expose the exact traps that are draining millions from hardworking Americans simply because they listen to water cooler gossip from their neighbor, Bob. Trust me, Bob doesn't know what he's talking about. Sounds a little dramatic, right? Let's talk about 2026. It's a critical year because millions of folks born in 1964 are turning 62. That's the exact moment you can finally hit that claim button on your Social Security. You want your money now, obviously. But wait, is hitting that button actually financial suicide? Before we crack that open, do me a huge favor, smash that like button so the algorithm shares this urgent warning with other seniors, and send this to your family. All right, let's dive into trap number 1. I call this the age 62 illusion. For decades, society has brainwashed us into thinking 62 is the ultimate finish line. You get the cake, the gold watch, and the government check. It is incredibly tempting to just log on and get paid. I mean, you grinded 40 years for this cash, so why wait? Here is the brutal reality check that catches almost everyone off guard. If you were born in 1960 or later, 1964 is right in the crosshairs. Your full retirement age is 67, not 65. 60-7. And here's the kicker that's going to make your blood boil. The Social Security Administration plays hardball. If you pull the trigger at 62, instead of waiting until you're 67, they slash your monthly check by a massive 30%. They just slice it right off the top. But surely it goes back up once you turn 67, right? Nope. That is the biggest myth in retirement history. If you lock in that early rate at 62, that 30% pay cut is permanent. It stalks you to the grave like a bad tattoo. Let that sink in for a second. We are living in a world where a carton of eggs costs as much as a used car, with inflation crushing our wallets and medical bills skyrocketing. Taking a permanent 30% pay cut is basically a financial death sentence. So you just keep working a side hustle, right? You figure you'll claim the check early and just moonlight a little bit to cover the bills. Sounds like a solid American hustle, but the IRS is already 3 steps ahead of you, and they have a nasty little surprise waiting for you. Welcome to trap number 2, the earnings test clawback. This is the #1 reason retirees wake up in a cold sweat. You thought you outsmarted the system by double dipping with a job in your check. But did you honestly think Uncle Sam would let that slide? If you claim early but keep working, the government slaps a hard ceiling on how much you are legally allowed to earn. And trust me, that ceiling is much lower than you think. We're talking about a strict cap that hovers right around $22,000 to $24,000 a year. Earning $1 over that limit? Welcome to the danger zone, where the penalty math is absolutely brutal. Are you ready to hear how they rob you legally? For every $2 you earn over their imaginary limit, the Social Security Administration will literally withhold $1 of your benefits. They just snatch it right back out of your hands. Imagine how fast that destroys your monthly budget. Picture this absolute nightmare scenario. You start taking your benefits at 62. You keep grinding at your 50 grand a year job because, let's face it, life is ridiculously expensive right now and you need that extra cash flow. Then one random Tuesday, the unthinkable happens. You check your mailbox and find a nasty little letter from the SSA claiming you have an overpayment. Guess what they do next? They completely freeze your monthly checks until you pay them back. Is your blood pressure spiking yet? Mine is. You are essentially working for free at that point. You're still paying payroll taxes on your wages like a chump, while totally losing the Social Security checks you thought were guaranteed. It is a vicious financial loop. So, what's the ultimate takeaway here? If you plan to stay in the workforce, do not even look at that claim button until you fully grasp this earnings test. Otherwise, you're just setting your own money on fire. But wait, it actually gets worse, because the real boss battle is just getting started. While you are busy stressing out over the earnings test, there is an even bigger, much more dangerous threat looming in 2026. And this one involves everyone's absolute favorite government agency, the IRS. That brings us to trap number 3, and honestly, this is the most urgent warning of this entire video. I call this the tax torpedo, and it is heading straight for your retirement accounts. Why is 2026 such a massive financial disaster? Well, December 31st, 2025 is a ticking time bomb in the American tax code. The massive tax reform passed a few years ago is officially expiring. We are talking about tax brackets automatically jumping back up. But how bad is the damage actually going to be? Standard deductions are going to get slashed almost in half. So you are already paying way more taxes. But why does this matter for your Social Security check? It comes down to a sneaky IRS formula. Have you ever heard of provisional income? Most people haven't, and it's quietly destroying their retirement. If you take your Social Security and you also pull money out of your 401k or traditional IRA to pay for groceries, it all gets lumped together. Sounds harmless enough, right? Think again. When you combine those income streams, millions of middle-class folks are going to get shoved right over the IRS threshold. We are talking just 34 grand for a single filer or 44 grand for married couples. And what happens when you cross that invisible line? Up to 85% of your Social Security benefits will suddenly become taxable by the federal government. Let me repeat that because it is absolutely mind-blowing. Up to 85% of the money you thought was yours. Are you starting to see the trap here? Claiming your benefits at the exact moment taxes skyrocket without a bulletproof IRA withdrawal strategy is a fatal mistake. You are basically handing a massive chunk of your hard-earned cash straight back to the government. But if you think that's rough, just wait, because trap number 4 is the one that actually keeps me awake at night. It doesn't just hurt your wallet. It directly impacts the people you love the most when you are gone. Want to know how you might be accidentally ruining your spouse's future? Finally, we arrive at trap number 4. And honestly, this one breaks my heart the most. It doesn't just drain your bank account, it directly punishes the person you promised to protect. It's the survivor benefit trap. How does your early retirement ruin their life? In a lot of marriages, there is a primary breadwinner. That means one spouse earned a higher salary and is expecting a much bigger Social Security check. You might be that higher earner right now. But what happens if you get impatient? If you claim at 62, you are accepting that 30% permanent pay cut. But here is the dirty little secret nobody warns you about. You are also permanently slashing the survivor benefit for your husband or wife. Did you realize you were making that choice for them? If you pass away first, they are legally allowed to step into your shoes and collect your check. But since you locked in that huge penalty by claiming early, your widow or widower is stuck with it. Can they actually survive on that slashed income? You might feel totally fine living on a little less cash right now while you're healthy. But ask yourself this, if you pass away in 10 years, is your partner going to end up in poverty? Because that is a totally avoidable tragedy. By simply waiting until your full retirement age, you guarantee your spouse gets the absolute maximum survivor benefit when you are gone. Don't leave your partner struggling to buy groceries just because you wanted cash today. So how do you navigate this total minefield? Look, 2026 is shaping up to be an absolute disaster for anyone born before 1964. You simply cannot afford to make these irreversible mistakes. You need to sit down with a certified financial planner immediately. To try to guess your way through retirement. Look at your taxes, your spouse's needs, and your work status before you ever hit that claim button. If this video opened your eyes today, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss my next urgent update. And I need to hear from you right now. Drop a comment below. What year were you born, and at what age are you planning to claim your Social Security? Share this video with your family, stay informed, protect your wealth, and I'll see you next time.